Hey all, it's Dan. Name of my channel is Numerical Lion. As you probably know, I use gematria to reveal the false reality in which we live in, using this ancient occult knowledge called gematria, the ancient practice of coding numbers into words. Saw this story from CNN about this woman who is being attacked by conspiracy theorists. Her name I can't really pronounce, but she's been falsely accused of starting the pandemic. Her life has been turned upside down. First, conspiracy theorists said she started the pandemic. Now she's afraid for her life. If you do the gematria of that little tagline, that very dramatic thing there, it equals 420 in reverse reduction, or 42 like Freemason, like Saturn, and also has a correlation to her name. I'll get into that later. Let's read a little bit of this article first. So, Maatje Benassi, a U.S. Army reservist and mother of two, has become the target of conspiracy theorists who falsely place her at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, saying she brought the disease to China. Now, wouldn't she be? Anyway, so the false claims are spreading across YouTube every day, so far racking up hundreds of thousands of apparent views, and have been embraced by Chinese Communist Party media. Despite never having been tested positive for the coronavirus or experienced symptoms, Benassi and her husband are now subjects of discussion on Chinese social media about the outbreak, including among accounts that are known drivers of large-scale coordinated activities by their followers. So these claims have turned their lives upside down. It's been a nightmare. She is looking out the window. So as the coronavirus has spread around the world, so has misinformation about the disease, right? And this is according to CNN, who's giving you this, the real information, right? CNN, owned by AOL Time Warner, right? We're supposed to believe them. Technology giants have touted the steps they're taking to combat coronavirus misinformation, but these efforts have failed to help the Benassis. So they're suffering because of these social media platforms. You can see what's coming, right? We need to stop that. She's a civilian employee at U.S. Army's Fort Belvoir. They're both in the Army, huh? That'll tell you something. So they say conspiracy theories are not dissimilar to viruses in that they evolve and mutate to spread and survive. Just like a virus, we need to stamp out conspiracy theories, right? So in early weeks of the coronavirus, conspiracy theorists began claiming without evidence. I love how they just put in that without evidence that it was a U.S. biological weapon. Well, it could be. I mean, they make all kinds of things in the lab. I mean, you go to a U.S. Army website and they'll tell you anthrax made in the lab, all these other things can be made by scientists. He says that was completely ridiculous and irresponsible. So this is what they got in the mail. It says a leper hunt, a letter that she received in the mail from an unknown sender. Her family's address was posted online after she became the target of conspiracy theorists, right? So a leper hunt. That's the thing that's emphasized, a leper hunt. Let's look at that. A leper hunt 51, like conspiracy 51, on a day with 51 numerology. Also, this 48 and 150 is interesting, related to her name. I'll get into that. There's a lot to get into. So perhaps the most prominent cheerleader of the idea that Benassi had a role in the imaginary plot to infect the world is George Webb, a prolific 59-year-old American misinformation peddler. Isn't that interesting? American misinformation peddler. Really good with their words here. That equals 150 like a leper hunt, 480 like a leper hunt, right? Remember that? And 303 like 33. And just misinformation peddler, 113 like coronavirus epidemic. Pandemic. So that's interesting. Misinformation peddler. They're so good with their words. So Webb has for years regularly streamed hours of diatribe live on YouTube, where he has amassed more than 27 million views and almost 100,000 followers. So 27, the story comes out on the 27th, that number of ritual. So many views, and he's still allowed to continue. I mean, Zachary K. Humbard, who I learned this practice from, he's got, 20 different channels. His channel has been taken down by YouTube 19 different times at least. And he's got like maybe 30,000 subscribers. Maybe the highest he got was like 50, 60,000. So why is he even allowed to exist? So also they're just showing how this guy, is crazy, right? And there's nothing they can do about it. You can't hold them accountable. YouTube just does whatever they want. No, they don't. No. So let's get to the decode here. There's plenty to look at. So this happened on a day with 51 numerology. We're talking about that number for a leper hunt. The letter that they got equals 51. Conspiracy 51. You ever hear of Area 51? Look at coronavirus, pandemic, and conspiracy theorists. Both 94 and 113. Just like misinformation peddler. She was a cyclist, speaking of peddling, at the Wuhan military games. That same time as Event 201, the simulation about the coronavirus pandemic. Just another coincidence. She was born on the 20th of September, 1967. Interesting. Day after my brother was born. From her birthday to this story is 220 days. Wuhan equals 22. Webb's last name, the guy we've been talking about, Webb 22, just like Wuhan, right? Wuhan 67, Webb 76, right? 23 and 32, the reflection of each other. So that was 220 days. Coronavirus pandemic 220. It was also 31 weeks and 3 days, or 313. 313. There's another number we'll be looking at. 313, the 65th prime. Seen this number time and time again. Related to coronavirus 65. Pandemic 65, also 38. And her name equals 38, that I will not attempt again, except her last name, Benassi. She was born on the 263rd day of the year, 263, the 56th prime, right? Just like her name, just like coronavirus. How fitting that she should be accused of being patient zero and spreading the coronavirus to China. She's a U.S. Army reservist. They mentioned that. Equals 70, just like coronavirus equals 70. Coronavirus 70. Also 232, her full name equals 232 as well. U.S. Army Reservist 232. So, guy must be a shill. 181. George Webb equals 181 in reverse. That's interesting. 181, the 42nd prime. Remember, we were talking about that tagline equaled 420. Now she's afraid for her life. You know, first conspiracy theorist said she started the pandemic. Now she's afraid for her life equals 420. And the guy who's supposedly responsible for it, George Webb, equals 181, the 42nd prime. And her last name, Benassi, equals 42. Also, George Webb has a connection with the virus. George Webb, 89 and 46. Just like virus, these are chaos numbers too. She was born on 9/20 or 92. COVID-19 equals 92. She's supposedly patient 0 equals 149. 149, a prime number, the 35th prime. That's interesting because this happened on a day with 35 numerology. Virus equals 35. Virus 35 as well. Virus supposedly from China. China 35. But here they're saying that no, it was brought to China by this cyclist. Also 28 and 37, kind of like China, right? Also 44. So this guy supposedly has 100,000 subscribers. He's got 98, the reflection of 89. George Webb equals 89. In this particular video he's got, says he's not getting ad money from Google anymore. He's got 1.5 thousand likes on this video, 19,000 views. You know, so this guy is up there in views, a lot of views. And notice the time on this video. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll make that a little bigger. 37 minutes and 30 seconds, or 373. And that's interesting. 373, a prime number, the 74th prime. They love that number, like the Sonic, Gematria 74. So patient 0 equals 59, that number of Freemasonry. And Webb, who's 59 years old, they say, says he's an investigative reporter, not a conspiracy theorist. That equals 277. 277, a prime number, the 59th prime. And he's 59 years old, and he's talking about this person is supposedly patient 0. So they're trying to discredit these people, trying to get, put pressure on YouTube and these platforms to censor even more. They're already doing a lot of censoring, In fact, George Webb equals 53, the reflection of 35. They're already censoring even more. So, George Webb, 53, reflection of 35. Right? So this will just ramp up the censorship even more. People buy this, misinformation about COVID-19, misinformation about coronavirus. Where is this information coming from? They're going to make this guy look really stupid, and he looks like controlled opposition, like a shill out there to give the truth community a bad name, And they're going to use that as an excuse to shut down other people who are actually talking about, real doctors talking about it. What's the Chinese Communist Party? Just put these words in there that press people's buttons. 270, like this, like he's got 27 million views supposedly, and 270, that number, 27, that number of ritual. Also 117. It's interesting. If you write out 13, it equals 117 and 99. Today, the 27th, the 118th day of the year. 118, that number of death. 17, that number of kill. So anyway, that'll do it. It's another video. Got over 300 of them. Trying to expose this reality that we live in. Numbers and letters. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.